Alright, so recording started. Let's get rolling. First question from Mary. Any of them, Mary. I usually start with social, like, social bookmarks, any type of social signals, and I see where that takes me. I give it a few weeks, a couple weeks, whatever the case. And then from there you can go after, like, blog comments, high PR links, link wheels, that type of thing. But you can really start with any of them. From Brian. And it'll probably still pass link juice, Brian. You can use it as a private network site. PR can be deceiving. You still have authority on that site, most likely. From Michael. Web servers for money sites. I use Todd's hosting. I use Host9. I have HostGator for a few of my sites, my older sites. But a lot of Host9 and Todd's service, which is BizBuilder hosting. For PBNs, Host9, Todd's SEO web hosting, aseohosting.com. I just started using Dollar Hosting, Dollar SEO Hosting, IndiaNets. What else have I used or do I use? No, that's a list of them. For my PBNs, I'm not as worried as long as they're not horrible. As long as they don't have too much downtime and the sites load fairly decently. I'm not too worried about it. I use Bluehost for some of them. Alright, from Janet. Okay, Janet, just ask specific questions and I'll get to them. From Key. Just through links, Key. I outrank them all the time. Just strong links, right optimization, all that type of stuff. From Brian. There's no such thing as an internal PBN link. PBN links are external. Those are just internal links, interlinking. I mean, the internal linking can help, but that's just kind of helping pass around the power of your site. The external links is what powers that. Okay, without those external links, that interlinking wouldn't do much for you. But interlinking can definitely help. Yeah, it depends on the strength of your PBN links and who's in front of you, Graham. Like in some of the health niches, it can be really hard to pass some of those big health sites, especially if people are linking to them. I'd have to see the strength of your PBNs, what anchor text you're using, how you set up your domain inner structure, all that type of stuff. From Ron. Yeah, Ron. I mean, the idea is to go through the content we lay out, write down questions, and come to these sessions and ask them. Or you can ask them in the Facebook group as well. People get quick answers there. From Michael. Yeah, Todd's service is bizbuilderhosting.com. B-I-Z, builderhosting.com. A proxy bid is when you set your high. Okay, so if a domain's at $12 and you bid, let's say you bid $100, okay? It will place the domain up to $17 as your top bid. If someone comes in and bids 22, it'll automatically jump your bid to 27 because GoDaddy auctions jump by $5, at least at the beginning stages. So anytime someone bids above your bid, it will automatically bid for you the minimum bid that you can have to win it. All right, and it'll do that up to $100. If they bid over $100, then you, of course, start being the losing bidder. From Brett. I mean, that is the step-by-step, Brett. Ranking video is pretty simple. That's mostly what all you can do is, your simple on-page optimization through title, description, and tags, and then get links going. And that's it. Video is pretty simple. From Gavin. I mean, I'm sure it affects it a little bit, Gavin, but I don't worry too much about that. I let my designers do that. A lot of people like Thesis, Socrates, themes like that, but I don't worry too much about that. Mostly the links are going to power your site. It may affect it a very little bit, but again, not enough where I worry about it. This is one of the first webinars, Mark, and it's for everyone, not just newbies. Whatever questions you have. Throw out questions. Yep, from Janet. Just lower your standards, Janet, a little bit. Everyone wants to go after the good ones, and you can go after decent domains and still do very well. So I'll just lower your standards a little bit. I mean, I personally still find really good domains for $69 every single day. I put a lot of time into my research. From Patrick. No, I don't disguise. I'm not totally sure what you mean. Expired domain is just when you use a site to power another site. What's up, Jack? Bernadette. You don't have to do that, Bernadette. I just kind of do it for safety. I always set up support@domain.com, and I'll forward that to my normal email, just in case I ever need it, or I don't know, if anyone ever looks into it, they just see that email, so that's just what I do. I wouldn't worry too much about that, though. Alright, from Amber. I also don't worry too much about H1 or H2. I haven't done too much testing with it. I'm sure it does help, Amber. I mean, I would say it probably does help a little bit, but I haven't personally tested too much with H1, H2 tags. I worry more about the URL and the anchor text, and then the title. So, from Brett. Yes, most of my sites are powered just by PBN links. From Edgar. I mean, that has nothing to do with pay-per-click, Edgar. You want to switch up your anchor text no matter what. You don't want to have too much of the anchor text too many times. And sink or swim method, the sink or swim section it goes over that in depth. From Sean. Yeah, I usually just let them come up with all that, Sean. From Mary. Yeah, just make sure you're getting different IPs, Mary. From Jack. No, not necessarily. Sometimes I'll rank the inner page, Jack. Yeah, I mean, you just always want to set up your site ahead of time. So, if I got klks.com/electronic cigarettes then I'm going to do my brand names here, okay? So what I'm going to do is, or let's say like electronic cigarette reviews, alright? And then I might have like brand name here, okay? So that's how I'm going to set up this site ahead of time. So what I'm going to do is copy, there we go. The actual silo right here, this is the silo. I'm going to rank this for stuff like electronic cigarette reviews. Whoops. Electronic cigarette reviews, review, My mouse is being dumb right now. E-cig reviews, maybe electronic cigarette brands, okay? All that type of stuff. Alright? And then my inner ones are going to be actual, or my sub pages of this are going to be actual brand names. So we got like V2 Cigs. And then this page, I'll target V2 Cigs, V2 Cigs review, stuff like that. Okay, so that's how you want to set it up. Just know what you're going to do ahead of time. From Gavin. Alright, I gotta set up a video on that because a lot of people ask that question. So let me write a note here. So basically what I do is I'll link to one site no more than 3 times. Okay, so if we got site 1 for linking from PBN1, okay, site 1 will be our money site, PBN1 is the site we're linking from. I might link to site1.com, site1.com/page1, and then site1 page 2, and that's the most I'll do. Sometimes I'll do 1, sometimes I'll do 2, sometimes I'll do 3, okay? But I will not link to any of these URLs again from this PBN. As far as how many links total, now I wouldn't hit this site again because I already did 3 properties on it. And usually I don't do 3, usually just 1 or 2. Sometimes I'll do 3, not very often. But total links, I would say no more than 100 links on a PBN. And that includes outbound authority links, and that's absolute max. I usually stay way under that. Alright, I'm usually around 20 at most. But I would set your max at about 100. And I'll do a video on that more in depth because a lot of people ask that. You can do internal linking for Web 2.0s. Nothing wrong with that. From Brian. I don't remember, Brian. Not many. I started with brand names, I believe. I would say by the time I was making $100 a day, maybe 10 I used. Just a guess. Alright, from John. And we just went over that. And again, I'm going to do a video on that because a lot of people ask about that. I don't know, Bernadette. I'm pretty sure it's NS you got to use. I could be wrong, but I've always seen just NS. So I would use NS. Again, I wouldn't worry too much about those details. From Brian. Yeah, I go over this in the sink or swim method, Brian. How I do my anchor text. From Key. Not necessarily. You just got to find someone to do it for you. You can look in the Facebook group. You can look on sites like freelancer.com if you don't want to do it yourself. From Michael. It depends how long I've had the site, how new it is. Sometimes, like a new site, I'll wait a week or 2, sometimes 3. It depends how much of a rush I'm in. More sites that I've been linking to longer, sometimes I will link every single day, multiple times a day. So I switch it up. From Brett. I would email Mike about that, omg@omgmachines.com. I don't know exactly where that content is. Mike lays it all out. From Welton. Yeah, you can use it for that, Weldon. Definitely. From M. Shah. I don't mess much with redirects, Shah, so I can't really speak on that. I like to, just talk about stuff I test with personally, so I'm not sure. From Matt. I would start with building your PBN out, Matt. That's the most important thing. get your PBN going. The rest is a lot easier from there once you have a PBN. Either way is probably fine. Like, I don't really mess with subdomains much. You know, Jimmy's really good with them, Jimmy Kelly. But either way will be fine, I think. I don't mess with them too much, though. So again, you know, with something I don't have much experience with, I don't like to comment too much. I don't want to give you a wrong answer. From Gavin. Yes, and I'll make a video on that. Like I said, a lot of questions come in on that. Nope, nothing has changed. If something changes, Janet, you'll know because I'll do a video. You know, that, when it comes to OSE, it just depends what you like looking at. I still use OpenSite Explorer and Register Compass. It's just a preference for me. I find it easy to read the data. From Key. Use my brain, like, you know, I'm thinking, what would I type in if I'm doing this? You know, you can use thesaurus.com. You can, if you type it into Google, they'll have recommendations down bottom. Like hernia, I don't know, herniated disc. If you scroll down here, they'll have recommendations down here. Okay, so you can look at that. That's kind of the stuff I do. From JD. You gotta, to join the Facebook group, for anyone else that has not in there, go to December 10th and 11th news, and it'll tell you how to do that. If you sent me requests since last night, I haven't gotten to them yet. I'll get to them probably tonight. And for the complete beginners, go through the introduction area, go through the introduction webinar, and start from there. From John. Yeah, everyone's favorite's going to be different. From Paul. Yeah, the company's for money site hosting. I use Host9 a lot. BizBuilder hosting a lot. I'll even use ASEO hosting for some of my money sites. Those are three that I like. PBN Sniper. I've never used PBN Sniper. I just have my own. You know, I like to just do it manually. That's just me. No, that's just preference, though. Steven? I like a lot of branded anchor text, Steven, and then pretty much the same thing you look for in an expired domain, except a lot of branded anchor text, and then a good domain name as far as it can be made into a money site. You know, you don't want cats.com for a dog site, obviously. So that's the only difference. From Patrick. Depends what hosting company you're talking about. As long as you're getting different IPs for each site, doesn't matter. From Michael. I don't remember, Michael. I don't really pay attention to the PR, so. No. Okay, I go for auction domains as well. Like GoDaddy auctions. But yeah, pre-release and then the GoDaddy auctions is mainly what I do. From Anders. You just put in your max bid. That's all. That's all you gotta do. And it'll set your max bid as your proxy, and it'll put your jump the bid up to whatever is the lowest possible high bid above the next lowest bidder. So, from Jack. I have much better success using them than selling them. From Brian. Awesome, Brian. Yeah, I mean, just give it a good week between links, see how they move, and you might not need many more links. You know what I mean? Just take your time. Yeah, you can go back and change them. Just don't do it too quickly. Like if you have 10 links, I wouldn't go change them all at once. That's what I'd do. From Sean. No, not really a minimum. It's just I just consider everything. If it has one really good link, it's a chance, and if it's a really good link, I might take that chance depending on the price. So I don't really use GSA myself, so I can't explain that too much. But we have a lot of content on that from Jimmy, from Patrick. Sometimes I do new domains, sometimes expiring domains. I do both, Patrick. Chris. Again, you can't judge by PR, Chris. I have PR3s that are stronger than PR5, so you can't judge by PR. From Anders. No, $100 isn't the limit. I was just giving an example. There's no limit to a proxy bid. That's just the highest price you're willing to pay for the site. And it will automatically bid up to that price for you if people bid it up that high. No, Kelcast is not a siloed structure, Gavin. It was supposed to be. We got a miscommunication with my partner on it, and we just never siloed it. From Janet. I mean, just links. A site that has links from quality sites. Good domain authority. I will consider PageRank, good Alexa ranking. I mean, it's hard to explain. I kind of go over that more in the videos, Janet. Like the type of stuff I look for and what I'm talking about in the videos that I show. That's what I find as good sites. Natural edu links, natural gov links, stuff like that. To study sites, I prefer hrefs. If I'm looking at and that's this site right here. This is how I analyze like anchor text and all that. OpenSite Explorer I use for PBNs. That's just me. You don't gotta do that. That's my preference. I don't know what Weblify is. Jack. Awesome, Jack. Perfect. From Brett. Yeah, pretty rare, but I have noticed that, Brett. HREFs I use for analyzing stuff like that. Again, this site right here. Because they pick up a lot of links. From Michael. I would ask Mike about that, OMG at omgmachines.com. Again, I don't lay out the content, so I'm not sure where everything is. Dwayne, most likely. I haven't tested with it too much. I'm kind of playing with it right now. But I mean, the idea is the link juice is still there, so it should work. But I don't have a definite answer for that yet. From John. No, not a min or max. Just more about quality. Like I said, if there's one good link, I may still go after it. Depends how good the link is and what the price is. One good link can do a lot for you. I mean, I guess, but if you have a PBN, you can just, when they cancel, you can take down their links and bye-bye go their rankings. So, it's the beauty of a PBN. From Brian. Um, Not necessarily, but most of the good sites are going to be .com, .org, .net. A lot of the other ones are spammy. Holy question. Alright, it's from Adrian. Yeah, you don't want to link to your money site from Fiverr gigs. Yeah, you don't want to, just make sure you link to just YouTube video type stuff, other Web 2.0 properties from Fiverr gigs. Do not link to your money site. For Michael. I'll set up different categories sometimes. Sometimes I'll set up no category. Sometimes I'll set up set categories and I change it up. So, and Clinton's here. What's up, Clinton? Whoops. All right, Clinton. Yeah, again, that depends on the name of your domain. If you got your keywords in there, what he's doing. I have no idea how strong he is and what he's using. So, I would need that information. From Brett. Yeah, it can take several months. It can take longer, it can take shorter. Depends on competition. From Sean. No, I just use Register Compass. Again, I'm set in my ways. I've done that since the beginning, so that's the way I do it. No, I don't pay attention to anything Matt Cut says. From Matt. Yes, that is right, Matt. Nope, does not have a specific theme. Yes, you can write articles in different niches, as long as the article is relevant to what you're linking to. Don't need to silo, don't need categories, you can use them though. Yes, that is correct. That's a good way to put it, kind of like an article directory. Yeah, it can be like that. Some people will set them up just for one niche, because, it is probably safer for the long run, but so far no problems with having multiple categories on a site. So, from John. Usually more for my PBNs is what I mostly worry about, John, but you can go for your money sites. I don't worry about that as much, though. From Damien. Just throw if you're talking about like, you're trying to rank for electronic cigarette brands, make sure you mention e-cig brands, electric brands of electronic cigarettes. Mention it once or twice, and then do your link. What I won't do is, like, say I have an interior design article. If I'm linking to, like, DelawareInteriorDesign.com, something about Delaware interior design, if it's a general article I order, I'll make sure I go in and throw in Delaware a couple other places. So my only mention of Delaware, I don't want my only mention of Delaware being a link. You know what I mean? Like, I want there to be other text that says Delaware that's not a link to help show Google that I'm not just throwing in Delaware to link to it to rank for it, if that makes sense. From M. Shah. It's probably a good idea to put them on different hosting, Sha. Um, I do have some money sites that are on the same hosting as my PBNs. I prefer not to do it, but it's just something I did, just rushing, I guess. But I would prefer it to be on different hosting if possible, just to be safe. One. One is the minimum. Now, I showed this example before. My friend owns this shop. I sent one link to it from a very cheap site, and here we are at number one. Okay, Delaware Barbershop, Delaware Barbershops, best Delaware Barbershop. Anything you type in with that, all from one single link from a PBN, a cheap PBN at that. Outranking Yelp, outranking Mana, outranking Facebook. All right, so outranking Yellow Pages. One link. Just depends on the niche. From Brian. I usually just hire out if I'm going to do anything like that. I don't use a plugin for that. Oh, the guy. Oh, you're okay. Share this, I believe it's called. Actually, it's on klcast.com. Let me see. What the hell is this called? Shareaholic. That's what it's called. Shareaholic. From Amber. I leave my meta descriptions empty, yes. I mean, you can fill out the descriptions so they show in the search engines, like in the description for the search engines if you want. I usually just let them pull it from my content, and I just do the titles. That's just me. From Edgar. You don't have to do it in another language, unless you're targeting another language. From Brian. Nah, I mean, a lot of that stuff you hear, Brian, is probably just crap. I mean, Calcast's doing totally fine. Probably should have a privacy policy, but I don't really worry about that type of stuff. Yeah, you know what, Paul? It's funny you mentioned SEO web hosting. I just signed up for a new account for them for 50 IPs. One thing I don't like is the IP range is very small. What I mean is like a lot of their IPs are like 123.45.56.2, and then the next one will be like 123.45.57.2. All right, so they got different C class, but only one number's different, just a little different. So their IP ranges aren't that big. So if you're going to order one, I would just order like a 20 or 30. I'll probably cut mine down. But yeah, I mean they're fine to use. I have another account with them as well, which is like a 20. I just send them topics, Mike, and have them write on that topic. And then, like I said with the interior design example, like I just do general articles. If I'm linking to a Delaware interior design site, I'll just throw in Delaware a few times in the article myself. From Gavin. Russell and Sue say not to cross-link between silos. I do, and I don't have a problem. So just depends. I mean, they're the silo experts, not me. So you probably want to listen to them over me, but I do it and don't have too much of a problem there. Another silo question. I mean, supposedly it's best to keep everything in that silo linked together and not link out to another silo. That's the way you're supposed to do it according to Sue and Russell. I don't worry too much about that. It's just me personally. But you know, you can either way is going to work fine. But it just depends if you want to listen to them. Who they are the expert on it, by the way, not me. So, from Chris. Yeah, I have tons of video. I should have tons of videos on that, Chris, especially for Moz. I only use OpenSite Explorer for Moz. I don't pay attention to anything else they say or do. H3S I just use for looking at the other type of stuff, anchor text and stuff like that. I don't remember what we were talking about, Mike. I get too many questions. From James. You can use, I believe you can use micrositemasters.com, but I just check videos manually usually. I don't know why, I just always have. From Brett. Never. As long as it has the links, it's going to have the power. From Michael. No, I do it myself, Michael. I don't trust anyone inside my PBN. From Vincent. I have never done coaching sessions in person or one-on-ones, Vincent. Just because it probably wouldn't be worth it to me or you at the price it would, that it would be worth it to me. So, I wouldn't write it off, but I haven't done it before. From Brian. I don't do too much of that, Brian. I just do SEO and let partners take care of that other stuff. But I know that a lot of my partners use like Get Clicky. I do have SEO, Webmaster, and Analytics installed on a couple of my sites. So it just depends what you want to do there. From JD. No, you gotta get the expired domains yourself, do your linking yourself. But it sounds like you're very, very advanced, JD, and contact David at omgmachines.com and just let him know that you don't even know how to set up a website. Where should you start? Because David is like the master planner, and most likely he'll have me do a video to get you started. If we don't, I might already have that. But David will be the best one to ask that question to, and he'll get you set with the best path, I promise you. From Michael. Usually 10 on average. SOA is the it's like the property attached to the hosting email. I don't know what it stands for though. I forget what it stands for. Oh yeah, domains usually escalate the most in the last 5 minutes, Janet. No doubt about it. But at the same time, sometimes you can go in at the last minute if people aren't paying attention, steal it out from under people. Like you said, it depends on how many bidders. And I usually do wait until the last minute to bid. From Gavin. From the entire PBN, Gavin. And again, I'm going to do a video on that. Most hosting, you don't need to change the SOA, Brett. But a good way to look is just type in your email you used to sign up for. And if all your sites start showing up, then you got to find out how to change the SOA records. Now, if you go and type your email you signed up with, let's say we signed up with, like one I use as an example that I did not change it for on purpose, is for this hosting account where we have a bunch of our example sites, like CDN News, Nashville Website Design, Colorado Springs Veterinarians, Delaware SEO, Baton Rouge Architects. If I change the SOA records, I would change I would change it from this email to, for Delaware SEO, I would change it to support@delaware.seo.org. That way, when you type in greg3@melovemoney.com, this will not show up. And if you do it for each individual one, they'll not show up when you do this email. So it's not a footprint. Yes, everything's recorded and then posted. Yes. For Mike. It's hard to get a penalty. You do gotta switch up your anchor text more now than you used to have to, Mike, so just be careful with that. Make sure your anchor text is spread out a decent amount and take it from there. And also, videos, good point, seem to be taking longer to rank. Where I'll send like PBN links to a video or any type of links, and it won't move for like a month, and all of a sudden a month later it shoots way up. So I've noticed weird things like that happening. No, I wouldn't use meta keywords. I think they ignore them from key. Most of the time, you're going to get a different IP key. If you're using a ton of sites like I do, and you order, like I just ordered my second SEO web hosting account, you may want to check to make sure you don't get any of the same IPs if you have multiple accounts under the same hosting provider. But if you just have one account, which most of you will, for each company, then you don't got to worry about that. From Gavin. I wouldn't say like high quality, Gavin, but I like it to make sense and be unique. Like I don't like spelling errors, sentence structure errors, because they can detect that. But it doesn't have to be like great content by any means. Russell and Sue are the ones from Network Empire. They're actually going to be doing a whole bunch of content for you guys very shortly. I pay $99 a month, Connie. There is free 3-month options out there, or free 3-month coupons you can get for free, 4 months, something like that. I don't add most of mine to Google Webmaster Tools, Brett. Mostly, I did a few of them just for testing, see what would happen. I haven't had a problem, but I wouldn't like add all your sites to Webmaster Tools so that then they're all kind of grouped together. Like if I had all my sites in there, I would have like 1,000 sites in there, and that would be no good. So. Awesome, Jack. Alright, from Michael. No, once it's off the home page, you'll have different link juice. And you can always increase the number of posts on your home page, though. So, I start with 10 because usually I don't go over that. Usually I'm not over like 5. But I do have some with up to 10, and I usually just won't go over that, so. Only for my really big sites like KLKS, Paul. Yeah, but for my smaller sites, I don't really worry about that. If it's like a big site that's like a big project like KLKS, I will take the time to do that. From Janet. Um... You know what? You gave me a good idea, Janet. You gave me a good idea. And then I can do a video on well, I kind of have videos on this already. Maybe something like that. Did you go through all the videos, Janet? I should have something like that already. But if I don't, I'll make that video. Pretty sure I do. From Damien? Try to ask me like what you don't understand about Damien, because I don't know how to put it any differently than I did. So if you have like a specific question, like I'm not sure how to explain it any different. That's just if I knew how to, I would, but I'm not sure how to explain it any differently than I did in the videos. So if you have like a direct question, maybe that will help me answer your question, Damien. Whoops. From Matt here. And I'm going to do a video on this. Alright, I'll do it very soon. No, just 3 tier links to the same money site, Matt. I don't go over that usually. And yes, you can continually post to different money sites. And again, I'll do a video on that. I personally do pay for most of them, Brett. That's just me. If you don't have a huge network, it's probably not that big of a deal. No, I don't think it's a waste of time, but I don't focus on it. I focus on ranking in Google, and then if I rank in Yahoo and Bing, great. If I don't, I'm not too worried about it. From Brett? Nah, don't worry about that. I add content when I need a link. I wouldn't use AdSense on your PBN sites. That's just me. It may be because you installed Spider Spanker, Mary. If not, maybe the site got the index for some reason. But I'm guessing maybe you installed Spider Spanker or something like that. From Gavin. You don't need to target one keyword per page. Actually, I target many keywords per page, Gavin. So if you go back to this example here, for this page here, I'm targeting anything that has anything to do with this. Electronic cigarette review, electronic cigarette reviews, e-cig reviews. I can even do the brands, electronic cigarette brands, e-cigarette brands, e-cigarette reviews, electric cigarette reviews. I can even do best electronic cigarettes if I want to. But for this page, the keywords I'm definitely targeting are anything with review in it. Electronic cigarette review, reviews, e-cig review, electric cigarette reviews. Those are all definites. Now I can decide if I also want to target these, or if I want to set up a page for best electronic cigarette type terms. So you're targeting multiple terms per page. It's up to you how you group them. Yeah, again, possibly just one. You know, as I showed with the Delaware Barber example. Depends on competition and how strong your PBNs are. I have the cleanest car probably in Delaware right now. Because I get tons of car washes. From Michael. I don't know why they're different, Michael. You know, I never even thought about it. I don't know why they do that. I don't know. But for pre-release, you basically are putting up $69 so you'll get in the domain. You're not actually spending $69. You're just saying, if I win the domain, I'll pay at least $69. That's kind of what you're saying. But you need to put up that bid to get in the actual auction. But if you lose, you don't pay anything. So, from Key. Yeah, if you have your keyword in your domain, I wouldn't repeat it like that, Key. Since you already have lawyers.com, since you already have lawyers in your domain, I would just do /personal injury. Okay, and then if you want to do by state, state. Okay, so if you got California, it's going to be lawyers.com. You know, if you're targeting personal injury lawyers in California, this is how I would do it for this domain. California. Okay, now of course your title would be like, you know, personal injury lawyers. So remember, your title helps you out a lot. Or you can even do attorneys, since you already use lawyers. Kind of take care of getting attorneys in there in California or whatever. If you want to target more, maybe you want to target best personal injury lawyers, you could put best in there. So, I mean, that's how I would set it up if it was lawyers.com. And there will be a replay, yes, but always replays of these sessions. For sure. You're welcome, Mary. I mean, website you control, video is not your property. And a video, it's a lot harder to monetize. So, you know, there's a lot of reasons to use websites over video. From Janet. I get what you're saying, Janet. It's so tough because it's case by case. Like, if I could pinpoint it for you, I wish I could pinpoint it for you. I'll try to think of a way to do that, but it's just always case by case. Maybe I can do like a new video on, just maybe an updated one, I guess. And I'll point out things I like and maybe what I would pay for it. Maybe that will help. I don't think I ever mentioned price in my videos, so maybe I'll do that. But then, of course, that also differs from person to person as well. So, you know, it's really hard to pinpoint with being person to person, but I'll do my best. And I'll see if I can do a new video for you. From Trevor. I gotta go. This is kind of embarrassing, but I gotta look up what permutation means. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Alright, so it's kind of like organizing in order. You're too smart for me, Trevor. Yeah, they're spread up across multiple PBNs, yes. So if I'm doing each of these right here, like if I'm doing these as anchor text, each of these is from a different PBN. That's a PBN, that's from a PBN, that's from a PBN, that's from a PBN, all different. If these were anchor text I was using to link to my site, Qzx300 serial reviews. From Gavin. I would say by now I've used 100 sites for Callz, but remember, this site's been around almost a year. And by the time I'd used 30, it was making like $500 a day. So, you know, the additional links was more like testing different keywords and all that. So don't let that number be intimidating to you, because you don't necessarily need anywhere near that much. Alright, so get in your last questions here, guys. My voice is about to go. I feel my throat burning. So get in your last questions if you got any. And I'll answer questions that come in up to 3 o'clock on the dot. Alright, from Key. No, your URL does not have to be exact match for your keywords. No, especially in this example, Key, where if you got a keyword in your domain, you definitely don't need it over here, because you already got it over here. All right. Now, if you had, you know what? Even if you had like gregsite.com. I still wouldn't do, unless if you're doing like every single city. It depends how many you're going to be doing, but I wouldn't do this, because I've had sites penalized for this. If you're doing like every single, let me delete this so it's not in the way. You don't want to do like this, injury lawyers in Alabama. Like if you're doing every single state, you don't want to keep repeating this. That's another reason to set up a silo, so you don't keep repeating it on the inner pages. Even though it's a brand name domain, this is still dangerous. Like, it's not natural. So you would still want to do gregsite.com, lawyers. You probably want to do personal injury, and then location. If you're going to keep repeating over and over and over again, all right? If you're just doing this one location, if you're just doing a single location, I would set it up like this, all right? This is how it's set up. But if you're going to do a bunch of locations, set it up like this, because then you don't got to keep repeating this on your first string URL, your inner URL, all right? Hopefully that makes sense. From Key. Okay, same thing there, Michael. I buy about 20 a week, I would say, Michael. I've been stocking up. I buy every single week. From Yomi. Yeah, again, how many you need depends. Maybe I'll do a quick video on that, like a minute video saying it depends. From Damien. I get what you're saying, that Damien. And if this was our future site, I'd probably tone that down, Damien. The reason I'm probably getting away with it is it's 2 words. All right, Nashville SEO is just 2 words. So if I did the same thing with Nashville SEO, or let's say like best Nashville SEO company.com. And I kept repeating best Nashville SEO company, like I did Nashville SEO, like you're talking about, I would have got penalized, because that's much less likely to be repeated that many times than a 2-word, okay? It's just like I did a new video on anchor text, you guys should watch it. It was just put in the members area yesterday, and I explained the exact same thing, like a 10% anchor text ratio. If you have, your anchor text 10% for, the best ways for women over 40 to lose weight. And then you have 10% anchor ratio for lose weight. Let's even say 25. So let's say like 25 out of 100 in each case. Alright? What are the chances of 25 out of 100 people using this? Not very good, right? Because it's so long, it's the longer an anchor text is, the less of a chance it has of being used a higher percentage time. This, what are the chances? Not great. 1 out of 4 will use it, but a whole lot better than this. Alright, so the reason I probably got away with that is because it's just 2 words. But I'm probably borderline. You're right on that, Damien. I would definitely tone it down for the future. We did that site a while ago. From Gary. Just through these sessions, Gary. You can email omg@omgmachines.com with questions if you really need to, and they'll pass them on to me if need be. From Mike. Yeah, you can leave them for as long as you want, Mike. And I've had videos up for like a year that I link to a year later and they rank, so. From Paul. Anything Spider Spanker I'll talk to Todd about. I'm not familiar with GoDaddy WordPress, Paul, so I don't know if it's different. I never used it. So I apologize for that. Alright, so it looks like about the last set of questions here. Probably websites, Brett. I don't know for sure. I would guess websites. But I mean, you could have a really good video and it could convert well, so I guess it depends on the quality of each. But if they're both the same quality, I really don't know. From Ben. But for affiliate, I would say definitely a website. You know, because with local, you can just put the phone number up there. For affiliate, they actually have to buy and click on something to buy it, so that gets a little more difficult. I believe you still can, Ben. I personally don't like to do that. But I've seen sites ranking with duplicate content where they just change like locations and stuff in the article. But I would be very careful with that. Thank you, Matt. From Andrews. That started at 2, Ben. 2 to 3. From Michael. Next session, I don't know yet. I haven't set it yet. Probably set it in the next couple days and it'll be in the members area. From Key. Yeah, I do care about global monthly searches for sure. You know, like when I'm looking at keywords, I'll think of words, I'll put them in, I'll see how many searches they get. And how many searches it gets does depend on how high on my radar it is. So, yeah, that definitely matters to me. You're welcome, Ian. Okay, you got it, Janet. Awesome, Paul. Gavin. It's all good. Ask if you guys got questions, ask. That's what I'm here for. At least these sessions are at least an hour. Sometimes I can go over. Days like today, I gotta cut it more because I don't have a drink next to me. I probably should have got a drink. My throat is on fire. But yeah, I mean, don't be afraid to ask tons of questions, guys. That's what you're paying for, and that's what I want you to do because I want to give you what you paid for, and more if possible. So please don't be afraid to ask too many questions. I really don't mind staying after most days, so. I don't know what he had set up, Welton, so I can't comment on that. From Brett. I got my alarm going off for auctions. I will maybe send a couple links to it, Brett, and see if you see some nice movement. If you do, then it's probably fair game. If you don't, then I would let it go. That's probably how I'd approach that. Alright, so this is going to be the last screenshot here. Alright, from Joseph. You're very welcome, Joseph. Glad these are helping people. From James. Good question, James. You can do either. I mean, I think the most important thing is to get a PBN built. So I would say PBN, building your PBN is #1 priority, because then by the time when your money site is built, you got your PBN ready to go to rank it. You know what I mean? So getting that PBN built is really big. I mean, it can really do a lot for you. So, but I mean, you can do both at the same time. You can do either. But my preference would be the PBN is #1 priority. But you don't have to do one before the other. Well, I mean, you do kind of have to have a PBN before you rank a money site, but you can have the money site first. Nothing wrong with that. And yeah, guys, don't forget, especially you beginners. A lot of our success stories were beginners. It's not just a pitch we used to sell this. I mean, we really have had a lot of people succeed with this. And a lot of them were in your same position where they're like, oh my god, I have so many questions. You just have to, the hardest part is the beginning. Bear down the beginning, keep going through the content, keep asking questions, get involved with the Facebook group, and eventually it comes together. I mean, there's so many people who used to be newbies that come on here or in the Facebook group and they explain, they say, I used to feel the exact same way. I was overwhelmed, I had so many questions, but if you just kind of bear down and just get through that phase and you learn that there's the initial steps, and trust me, it'll be well worth it. We've had a lot of people succeed from beginner. Very welcome, very welcome. What if people ongoing for the same businesses? I'm not sure what you mean there, Paul. I just use the keyword planner, James. Alright, awesome. Alright, so I'm going to end this one now. I'll put the recording in the bag. Alright, recording started. These are always recorded for the new people and put up in the members area, usually by the next day. So, alright, this question is from Gary. Yeah, that Gary, I can already tell you that's probably a problem. Anytime like I have a new client site or whatever, and I see that many referring domains, 200 referring domains, it worries me. And I'll look into what kind of links they are. A lot of times, that many referring domains, it's better just to start over on a new site. But sometimes I will, fire a couple links and then see if I see any movement. But most likely, it's a penalized site, Paul or Gary. From Paul. I've never heard the term domain popularity, but I imagine it's interchangeable with domain authority, I would guess. From Wilson. You target as many keywords as you want, Wilson. You can target 1, you can target 100, you can target 1,000. It just depends how much you can expand on the keywords and how many keywords you're targeting per page and all that stuff. From Rob. I don't have a ton of 301 experience, Rob. Next time we get Jimmy on a call, we can ask him, but me personally, I wouldn't do that with the bad domain, but you could ask that in the Facebook group, and someone might be able to give you a better answer, because I just don't mess with 301s that much. From Alfred. Whatever authority fits your budget, Alfred, and it depends what niche you're going after. You know, I've shown this example many times. Let me go to Google. This is a friend of mine. He owns a barber shop, and I did this with one link from a site that cost me about $50, something like that. I don't remember the price. You know, anything you type in about barbershop, Delaware barbershops, you know, best Delaware barbershop, and this is all just from one link. Okay, one link from one expired domain, which wasn't even that expensive. So it really depends on the market you're in, and you know what you're doing. I mean, there's not really like a limit. All right. So let me go get a new set of questions. A lot of people tonight, so we'll probably be on a little more than an hour, I'm guessing. But we'll see. Alright, from Dave. Mostly, Dave, I rank my sites by mostly PBN only. And I have no problem at all. If it's a big site like Qzx, I might do some social, like, you know, link to Facebook to it and all that. But outside of that, I don't really need much else. You really don't. From Mika. Yep, you'll find a replay of this in the members area when it's all done, probably by tomorrow. From Ken. Yeah, you can set up a call forwarding number, Ken. You can use a service like callfire.com or analytic call tracking, and they can track your numbers and all that stuff. And you can track who calls there and then follow up with a business. From George. Oh, okay, Jordan Fletch cut his short. From Calvin. You want to start with the orientation, Calvin. The orientation section. Get that webinar, and Dave just did a new video on orientation, how to get started and all that. From Teb. Yeah, again, how many I developed doesn't. It really varies. You know, that barbershop took one. You know, Qzx I've probably done, I don't know, 80 by now, because I'm just targeting so many keywords for that. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. James. No specific amount of referring domains, James, just good links, quality links. From Ben. I usually change all my content, Ben. Totally new content. Leaving the content the same and changing the city or town, I think that still works. But I would just be very careful doing that, because who knows how long that will last. From Dan. Yeah, you don't gotta have SEO in the title or in the domain, Dan. You can use that. From Guy. I mean, really, they change their algorithm every day, but I mean, major changes a few times a year. You know, and of course, we stay on top of that guy. You know, I got tons of sites out there that I watch, and anytime there's a change, I make sure I, try to figure out what's going on as quick as possible. Not just for you guys, but for me as well. So, from Wilson. I mean, usually you can tell by like what type of keyword it is. Like, obviously if it's something like weight loss, it's going to be really hard. And you can also look at what domains are ranking, and what type of domain authority they have. Do they have links going to them and all that? But I would stick with long tail keywords to start if you're even asking that question, because long tail keywords convert very well and they're easier to rank for. So, from Anthony. Yeah, again, if you're just getting started, go through the orientation section. Go through orientation webinar, David's new video, and go from there. The first thing you want to do though is learn how to build a PBN and all that stuff. I mean, anything that's just natural to the site, Paul. I mean, if it's a dog site and it's naturally having links from other dog sites and all that, that's natural. You can tell by the anchor text. Like, if there's a lot of branded anchor text, that's usually natural. So you just look at who's linking to it, what anchor text they're using, and all that stuff. and I cover that in a lot of the videos. From Ted. And you don't necessarily have to delete them, Ted. You can just leave them the way they are and, just do what I showed going forward. That's not a big deal. From Ken. Yep, and I just did a video on that, Ken. From Gavin. That's irrelevant, Gavin. How many pages? You can use them all for one page. It doesn't really matter. From Daryl. Yep, absolutely can use WordPress. That's actually what I recommend. I rarely use Google Analytics, Bob. I don't really do that side of things. I let partners take care of that. But I know a lot of my partners use GetClicky. From Ken. I cover this in videos, Ken, but just because you have pre-existing links going to the site, it gives it domain authority, so it's getting power. All right, so it's pre-powered, it's pre-trusted, and that's why we use them. From Ben. Yeah, I believe so, Ben. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm working on that now with Jimmy and the Network Empire crew. From Brian. Yeah, Brian, I cover that in the sink or swim method a lot. I talk about it over at the optimization a ton. From Ted. And guys, if you're new, the best thing to do is watch the videos first and write down questions you have, because I cover a lot of these questions in the videos, so that would be my recommendation. No, I don't silo my PBNs, Ted. From Wilson. No, you just want to set it up before you start your linking. You want to know what URL is going to rank for what keywords. That way you can link to it and make it rank for it. So as long as you know before. From Anders. Probably the 5 really good ones, but again, it depends on the niche. It depends what type of keywords you're going after. For local, you'd be fine with 10 low ones, and that would be cheaper and easier for, an easier keyword. But if you're going after tougher ones, you want to go after the better sites. So, all right, let me go get some new questions. From Gordon. Not really any limitation there, Gordon. I mean, you can use 30 different money sites on your 10 PBNs if you want. I just wouldn't put too many links in the same post, because then it starts getting spammy. But yeah, not really any specific limitation. Rarely are you going to have too many money sites in the same niche. I have a lot of sites in the same niche. I don't think I have any more than like 15 in one niche. So, and that's high. From Evan. Nope, no time frame. Doesn't matter when you start. When you start, you'll use the power. That's all that matters. From Scott. I wouldn't keep repeating SEO in the inner thing, Scott. If you're gonna set up an SEO, just set up an SEO silo. So you got domain.com/SEO/city, like that. That's too long. And then you can take care of expert in the title. You know what I mean? You can have like San Francisco, if I spelled that right, SEO expert. If you're trying to target expert, you can just put that in the title. You don't gotta apologize for being late. No problem. From what's up, Pete? From Wilson. I probably used like Best Delaware Barbershop, something like that. Wilson, I forget. It was a while ago. From Ben. I haven't looked at that yet, Ben. So I'm not entirely sure. I gotta meet with Jimmy on that soon to do the PBM Reloaded thing too. Just the higher the better, Bob. You know, anything over 10,000 is great. 10,000 to 50,000 is good. 50,000 to 250,000 is pretty good, and below 250 is eh. So, from Paul. Yeah, it just depends what method you want, Paul. I just like my way of doing things. I'm stuck in my ways. You know, I have my process for finding domains. A lot of people like PBN Sniper, so it just depends what. Neither way is wrong. Yeah, same thing. Probably like Delaware Barbershop, something like that. Yazid. Branded anchor text means when you use your anchor text and it's the name of the link or the name of the company, something like that. Mostly the same thing, except for your money site ones. You're looking for a domain that has a name that makes sense that you can use, and you don't want cats.com to promote a dog product. And then you are also looking for a lot of branded anchor text. Same thing, kinda. You know what I mean? But you kind of want to pay more attention to the domain name and a little bit more on the anchor text. You want as much branded anchor text as possible. That's what I like, at least. From SJ. You can no, you can still rank thin sites totally fine. Nothing wrong. I have smaller sites that do totally fine. SJ. From Rob. No, I didn't really have an idea. You know, I just started firing. I would see where I ranked and take it from there. You know, I mean, I started with the easier keywords and just kind of worked my way up. From Elizabeth. Yeah, usually. Most of the time I'll just use NS1, NS2, but I will use different numbers sometimes. From Azid. It should be in our members area, or you can go find it at wordpress.org. And we got a lot of people on, so I'm still about 9:05, about 10 minutes behind in questions. Like I said, I'll probably end up staying later than an hour tonight, because we have so many people on. From Brian. Yeah, you can, and I do that, Brian. You know, I had KLKS.com, the homepage, ranking for electronic cigarette on the homepage, or on the first page of Google for a while. Then I kind of let go because it wasn't converting too much PBNs for something that just wasn't profiting that much. So, from Ben. I have done it, Ben. I just like using them just directly to my money sites more though. I'm testing more with it, but right now I use them pretty much all to my money site unless I'm doing testing. From Paul. I don't know if I did a video on that, Paul, but the person who made that video, his name is Dan Pulaski. He's in the Facebook group, if that's kind of what you're getting at. From Tom. It's probably fine to do, Tom. I wouldn't use it for too many sites. You know, maybe like 3 or 4, something like that. But I wouldn't keep using it site after site after site. Me personally. From Paul. I mean, page authority is great. You want to have, if it's high page authority and domain authority, that's good. You know what I mean? Um, If you have high domain authority, low page authority, I kind of look at that as the same as like medium page authority, medium domain authority. You kind of got to mix the two together. I skip Anthony's? No, I don't know what you mean there, Anthony. From Yazid. Yeah, and we covered that just a little bit ago. From Jeff. Yeah, how many PBNs you use really depends on too many factors to answer, that general of a question. Depends on the keyword competition and all that. From Gavin. I'm actually going to write down questions that people always ask so I can cover them in videos. From Gavin. You use different PBNs, Gavin. So each link you have will have a different anchor text going to the same page. From Pete. Yeah, and I cover that in the sink or swim method. How to use your anchor text. From Poll. Yeah, I mean, I'm using about 80 PBNs right now to KLKS, something like that. Yeah, but I started slow. I started a low amount, and a lot of those PBNs are used for really competitive keywords that need a lot of PBNs. So, I mean, it's not as many as it seems, really, because I built my way up slowly, and you gotta build your way up. From Wilson. And I just did a video on that, Wilson. It's in your members area. From GW. I don't know, GW. Never used it, so I'm not sure. I just embed the code as text, in the HTML code. From Alfred. You're going to need a lot, Alfred, for something like phone charger. Again, my recommendation is go after long tail keywords because they convert way better. You know exactly what the person wants. Someone doing phone charger could really want anything. They could be looking on for something about why their phone charger is broken or why their phone charger does this or that. Like, you don't know what they're looking for. Whereas if someone types in AT&T iPhone 5 phone charger, you know exactly what they want, and you can display that when they get to a page. So I would do long tail keywords, trust me. Probably Rob, yeah. Yep. From Brian. Yeah, I put it in a spreadsheet, Brian. That's exactly right. From Gordon. No, Gordon. Just, again, I use my PBNs to my money slate. That's it. That's all you got to worry about. From Gary. Pretty much, Gary, yeah. I would, if you want to, you can send a few links for like long tail keywords and see if they rank. Like really easy to rank for keywords and see if you see a lot of movement for it, and if you do, then you might be alright. You can kind of test. From James. No, I don't build links to my PBNs. I just go buy new ones. From Dan. Yes, that's fine, Dan. From Wilson. No minimum. No minimum. I mean, there's keywords out there that get 5 searches a month that you can make thousands of dollars with. That show they get 5 searches a month. So, I mean, there's no minimum. From Andy. I don't know any off the top of my head, Andy. From Vadim. Yeah, you definitely want different. I mean, you don't need different hosting accounts, but as you get more and more sites, you want to use different hosting, just to be safe. But you definitely want each site to have a different IP. From Mary. Just PBNs, Mary. Someone did try to negative SEO me. If you're seeing those links, I didn't do them. From Pete. Yeah, having the keywords in the content will definitely help, Pete. Then, of course, you want them in your anchor text where you're building links. From Ben. Yeah, any URL, Ben. You don't. I mean, there's no point really linking to it twice. And you're not really doing anything more to power it. It's not going to hurt you. It's just not. You're not going to get any more power from it. From Minaj. You aren't also getting their website. You're just you're getting a domain which has all those links going to it, which means it's powered. You're not getting their website. You're just getting the domain name, which is powered. Pre-powered. From Ben. Usually like a day or two, Ben, but it depends who it's with. What domain registrar. Some of them can take a few days. I've had to take up to a week, but usually within a day or two. For GW, I use limit login attempts. You can use Spider Spanker to help a little bit with security, but I'm not a big security person, so I don't know the best answer for that. Jeff, yeah, I use something called Microsite Masters for that. I mean, it's a paid service, but micrositemasters.com. That's what I use for my keyword tracking. You're welcome, Wayne. I'm not sure what you were thanking me for, but you're welcome. From SJ. Yeah, I mean, the one that I used as an example was like a PR2, PR3, exactly. That's not really like a super hard keyword. Yeah, you don't need like the really good ones, SJ. You can go with the PR2 quality, PR3 quality, and do fine. Now, you can't expect to rank for the super competitive keywords, but you can definitely use them, start with them, and build your way up. That's what I did. From Yomi. I just go with whatever one has more links, Yomi. From Wilson. I mean, NHB pretty much is OMG now, Wilson. We only have the coaching, so, I mean, it's basically the same thing now. Nope, I never cross-link PBNs. From Les. I don't have any to pay attention to that, Les. I wouldn't worry about it. From Tom. Give it some more time, Tom. I had the same thing happen recently. It took a couple weeks, so. From Paul. Not that I know of, Paul, but you can ask that in the Facebook group. There's a lot of people from those areas that can tell you for sure. From Wilson. No, you can do that. You can do it with the categories, Wilson. If that's easier for you. Gary, I would honestly recommend just starting a new site. I know you probably don't want to hear that, but it's probably going to be the easiest thing. Ted, that's probably in one of the beginner videos. I would ask that to, anytime you want to know where a video is on something, I would email David at omgmachines.com, because he's the one that places the videos, like what goes where. From Angela. What do you mean by what content, Angela? I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, PBNs, you can use cheap content. I use cheap, unique content. You know, it's not the greatest content, but it's unique and it works. For my money sites, once they get ranking, I have someone write something that will convert for me. You can find people in the Facebook group. You can find people at article writing sites. From Wilson. It can be a problem, Wilson. No, I wouldn't do it anymore, but yeah, I mean that can put you into problems. From Scott. Scott, I would probably start with just changing the title first to fit your keywords. I don't like changing my URLs unless I have to. But yeah, I would change the title first and go from there. From Joe. Again, I would email David to know exactly where a video is. From Gavin. No, Gavin. We're looking for that for a different reason. Because that just shows natural links. And it helps us, if we want to target that URL for something, we can really hammer money keywords. Because it's already filled out with branded anchor text. From Malcolm. The Facebook group, Malcolm. I think there's some people in there to do it. But Mike takes care of a lot of our design. From Yazid. I mean, you just gotta look at it in hrefs or something like that, Yazid, where you see how many links it has, you see what the anchor text is, and all that. But I can always help with that as well. I don't know what you mean by this right here. But I would likely do category, keyword, city, state. I wouldn't do them so long. You want to break up each category into a section. From Gordon. You can use any type of content on any site, Gordon. It's the link juice powering the site. And so you can use any topic, doesn't matter what topic you use or what the site was on. You can use anything. From Ben. I've never seen 10 videos ranking, but I've seen 3 or 4, something like that. From Josh. Yeah, absolutely, Josh. You're just going to lose the power that anything you were linking to, you're obviously going to probably end up taking those links down, and they'll lose that power, obviously. But no, there's no problem with that. From Paul. Yep, I start with easier keywords and work my way up. Easier keywords, just longer tail, Maybe something like best e-cigarette brands, something like that, or maybe brand names that aren't as well known. Like V2 Cigs and Green Smoke, they're really popular. Maybe I'll go after smaller brand names. Something that maybe gets a couple hundred searches a month. From Wahane. I mean, I don't know what you mean by that question. Just, pick stuff that's launching, get up a site, and send expired domains to them. That's how you would do the day job killer. From Pete. You change the SOA records, Pete, and I cover that in the videos. From Gavin. As far as the hosting email goes, Pete, for domain email, you do who is privacy. From Gavin. The e-cigarette brands page does the most traffic. I guess someone's promoting web hosting. From Yomi. Yeah, again, this question comes up a lot. I can't pinpoint how many PBN sites you need because I don't know how strong your PBNs are. I don't know what keywords you're targeting. I don't know what type of site it is. So that's impossible to answer, unfortunately. I wish I could. From George. Yeah, I'm not ranking for electronic cigarettes anymore. I kind of let go of that one because it wasn't converting that well. From Paul. I mean, just longer, Paul. Something that's, weight loss for women over 40. That would be a long tail keyword. From Rob. Nope, I log in and do them one by one because I like to track exactly what I'm doing. And I don't let anyone else touch my stuff. I do it all myself, so. Spider Spanker hides links that the PBN is linking to. So you install them on your PBN so the robots don't pick up what that's linking out to, which will then hide them from your money site. Yeah, absolutely, Pete. Definitely send internal pages. From Rob. Yep, I definitely have done that, Rob. I do it all the time. I just do it slowly. If I need to change 10 of them, I'm not going to do it all in one day. I might do 2 one day, skip a day, 1 the next day, 3 the next day, skip a couple days, do 1. I'll split it up. From Joe. You can, Joe, but I would really focus on getting expired domains the way I show event, as soon as you can. From Paul. Nope, straight PBN to money site, Paul. Curlin. Yes, PR0 is fine if it has good links. Scott. And I cover that in a new video, Scott. I just did a video on that. They don't have to be themed. From Chris. I mean, they can be the normal price for some domains, Chris. It depends what type of domains they're going after. And if you can't afford that, I would just lower your qualifications. And the more research you do, the better chance you have of finding domains at a good price. I do tons and tons of research. From George. I've never really tested with it, George, but I'm sure it does. I wouldn't keep using the same keywords over and over and over again. Your alt tags, I would change it up, but I'm sure it helps a little bit. From Vadim. Yeah, why not? If that's what you want to rank for. From Rob. That's a tongue twister. I gotta read this one again. Um, Subdomains. So I'm guessing they don't have different IPs. I would put them on different IPs if it were me. If that's what you're saying. From GW. Yeah, for different keywords. That's why you group them in different URLs. Yeah, in that case, GW, then you're just going to have 15 PBNs to rank it, you know what I mean? So you don't have the extra URLs, so depends how you set it up. Scott. I believe they do YouTube videos, Scott. I've never used them for that, but I'm pretty sure they do. From Edgar. I don't do that, Edgar. I don't mess with it, so. I do both, Rob. I do everything. Don't really have like a specific recommendation. Usually, if it's gonna be a larger site, I'll do a branded. Sometimes smaller sites, I'll do EMD. Sometimes I'll still do branded. It really depends. From Gavin. It doesn't necessarily have to be about dog bowls, but at least something about dogs, Gavin. Just at least about the general topic. Yeah, so you can just do general stuff, Gavin. You can do stuff about dogs, and then start talking about, you can just kind of write in dog bowls in there creatively. From SJ. Not necessarily. It really depends, SJ. I don't do a ton with Weebly either, so. From Curlin. Nope, they'll help you, Curlin. Again, they're not gonna help you rank for car insurance or something like that, but they can help you. From Steve. I wouldn't link each keyword, but if you mention something you have another page on, then I would link to it. Just link to that other page. For George. And you can kind of use Callz as a blueprint. Go look at what I did for that. For George again. Yes, that's pretty much what I do, George. Or that's what I did, when I didn't have as many PBNs. From Gary. A referring domain is just, it's a domain. So if you have links from 30 different referring domains, that just means you have links from 30 different domains. They're totally different. That's all it means. From Pete. If you want to do a silo, then yes, that's what you would do, Pete. From Ed. Go check out my new video, Ed. I cover that exact question. That video was just released a day or two ago. From Rob. No, I just have someone set up my PBNs, Rob. And I use Link Juice Keeper to preserve the links. That's pretty much it. From Angela. Yeah, I mean, I show that in the videos, Angela, at least for the PBNs. For your money sites, I would talk to Mike about that. That's more about, like, design and all that stuff, which I just have other people do for me. But, as far as PBNs, I cover that in the videos. I mean, if your content's not unique, Nan, it's just, you just run the risk of running into penalties and it creates problems that don't need to be there, in my opinion. Or it's just like another factor you got to worry about, which you could get rid of by just using unique content. From Angela. Nope, you don't gotta keep the old content. Nope, nope, nope. And all you gotta use is Link Juice Keeper. That's it, Angela. That's all you gotta do. Now you can put up new content, link out to whatever you want. All that juice is still there. GW. Not necessarily GW. I mean, you gotta see who's ranking for what and how many links they have and what their domain authority is and all that. I mean, if I'm looking at a client, like an old client site, the more referring domains they have, the more concerned I am. Because, with SEO right now, less is more. The more you have, the more problems you can run into. So the more links I see going to a site that I'm trying to rank, that I haven't built those links for, then the more concerned I'm going to be. For GW. Yeah, and then the strength of the PBNs, of course. From Wahane. Yes, there is video on that. From Vadim. I personally wouldn't Vadim. I used to, and I didn't see good results from it after some time, so I just use unique content. And if you guys ask a second like a follow-up question, make sure you include your first question, because I don't remember the previous question. From Gavin. Yeah, it's going to help you rank for these two, for sure, Gavin. And that's why we do the sink or swim method, which I cover in the sink or swim section. That's why we do it that way, because exactly what you just said. From Ted. Nope, you just install and activate. That's it. That is it. From Rob. Nah, you can't put Spider Spanker on them, Rob, I don't think. They can help, but I focus more on regular sites. Me personally. From Brian. Yeah, that's fine, Brian. As long as it has good links, I'll purchase anything. From Joe. Yes, it does, Joe. They convert very well, usually. An exact match domain, Yazid, means your domain name is the name of the keyword. Okay, so if you're trying to target weight loss for women, an EMD for that would be weightlossforwomen.com. An exact match domain. Elizabeth, you're going to want to go through the videos. PBN is a private blog network. It's a site we use to power our money sites. And again, we cover that deep in the videos. I'll go through orientation videos first, Elizabeth, and then work your way into the other videos. That kind of tells you where to start and all that stuff. From Vadim. It depends. If they have good links going to them, I'll keep them, Vadim. If not, I'll get rid of them. From Aurelio. It's a lot harder to tell, and I have a video on this, Aurelio, describing, Google penalties. It's really hard to tell, but, if you don't have keywords you should be ranking for not ranking, or they're ranking on like 4th, 5th pages when they should be ranking a lot higher. Usually it's over-optimization penalty. But I have a video on this kind of describing it, but it's hard to tell nowadays. Weebly site's just like a Web 2.0 site, Ken. It's kind of like, I like Tumblr or something like that, where it's a large site where you can kind of like create a blog on it. So that's kind of what it is. From Scott. As long as it has other good links and it's not a ton of bad links, Scott, that should be fine. From Andrew. More and more affiliate, Andrew. A lot more affiliate now than client. Whereas when I started, it was more client. And then I kind of worked my way into more and more and more affiliate. So. From Curlin. Yeah, cheap hosting like for your PBNs. I use Host9, BizBuilder, ASEO hosting I use, SEO web hosting. They're really cheap. There's Dollar SEO hosting. I've had some problems with them, but they're very cheap. Who else do I use? Let me see. Got my other computer here. I'll bring it up. I've tried Cloak Hosting. I have a few sites with them. Who else? HostSEO.org. Indianets. And I have accounts with all these people. Some of them multiple accounts. I think SEO hosts, I think it's .com. I think it's a .com. There's SEOhosting.com. There's Skynet Hosting. And that's it. That's who I have accounts with. From Tony. The quickest way is to target long-tail keywords, Tony. Targeting brand names and brand name review, that converts very well. Day Job Killer is a good way to go. How do you create a link? In the content, Gary, you just highlight it, you hit the link button, and you put in the URL that you want to link to. That's just in WordPress. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, talk to David Mills, David at omgmachines.com. We might even have beginner videos on that type of stuff. If we don't, he'll probably have me make them. Ken, Link Juice Keeper helps you keep all the links that are going to an old site. So if we buy like a site, site.com, and site.com has like links going to site1.com page 1. Well, when we get the site, we're just using site.com, okay? Page 1 will no longer be there because that's the old site. What it does is it redirects all the links going to page 1 and sends it to the home page, so it keeps the link juice. So any pages that don't exist anymore, it says, okay, if that page no longer exists, redirect that link to the home page. And that's what it does for us. So it keeps all the link juice. Link Juice Keeper setup is very easy, Wayne. You install it, you upload it through WordPress, and you activate it. That's it. So you go to WordPress.org and search for it, or download it from our members area. Okay, say it's on your desktop. When you're in WordPress, you go to Plugins, Install Plugin, hit the Upload button, choose that file, and hit Activate. That's it. From Paul. It doesn't have to be relevant, Paul. It does not have to be relevant. It's all about the link juice. From Steve. No, I wouldn't worry about just a couple, Steve. If they're not your links, you can't delete them. But I wouldn't worry about just a couple. From Vadim. I mean, Vadim, you would just do something like out for that. For example, I would do like domain.com. Computer repair. Just as an example. And then location. Okay. And if you're going to do, if you're going to do state and city, you can do state and then city. All right. So this URL would target state computer repair. This URL would target city computer repair. That's the way I would set it up. All right, Joe. Yeah, I do, and I do use the same key every time, Joe. Don't worry about that. From Yomi. Just make sure you're looking at the site that you're bidding on, Yomi. So it's okay if it redirects. We're looking at the link. We just want to make sure that we have the site we're actually trying to buy up. All right. So just make sure you're looking at the right URL. From Arthur. I think you're talking about microsite masters, Arthur, I think. Yep, I think you're talking about microsite masters. From Paul. Yep, absolutely, Paul. Do it all the time. Aurelio. No, not a bad idea, Aurelio. You just won't get like a ton of juice out of them if they don't have, links going to them. From Curlin. I mean, you can, if those links are strong links, then it'll give you some power. I mean, if it only has 2 links going to it and they're weak links, it's not going to do much for you. From Edgar. You can if you want, Edgar. I usually just do content when I want to link out. That's just me. From Ed. Ed, I cover this in the new video. Just shot it, because a lot of people asked that question. From Tony. Easiest way to promote it? I would probably ask Fletch that question, Tony. I'm not that good with conversion. I just rank stuff and then kind of pass on conversion to other people. So, but I mean, as far as the SEO side, Tony, I would target like for like ClickBank or CPI. I would target like brand names, like product name review. That converts very well. As far as like how to set up the site, that'd be something to ask Fletch probably. From Ted. No, you can have your sites with GoDaddy as a domain registrar, Ted, and use a different hosting. You don't have to use GoDaddy for the hosting. From Gavin. I use so many different hosts just in case. Alright, Gavin, so say you got 50 sites on one host, right? Use all these 50 PBNs to link to your money sites, and something happens with that account. Where maybe your links are all down for 3-4 days. Do you want all your links down at once? You know what I mean? Like, and what if they find something and they can just find all your sites on the same server? Most likely it's not going to matter, Gavin, but I just do it just to be extra safe. All right. And you don't have to worry about that really till you start getting like a good amount of PBNs, like over 40 or so, I would say. I have two computers because my other one's slow as hell. So I mean, when I'm working, if I can work 5 minutes quicker every hour, that's an average of 45 minutes a day. It saved me, which is a lot of money for me. So it's worth, one day is almost worth getting a new computer that's faster for me. So that's why. I actually have about 5 computers. I just use 2 of them now. From Gary. I don't know, Gary, because I don't know what you're using. So I'm not exactly sure. If you have any final questions, put them in real quick, and I'll get to all these final questions we got. Up to about 10 o'clock or so. Then I'll get this recording in the bag for everyone. I've never heard of Phoenix, Ed. Never heard of him. From Yomi. A PBN that has a 404 error page? That might be a problem with the hosting, Yomi. I don't know exactly what you're talking about there. But it's probably I would contact the hosting company. From Paul. There should be a high definition option, Paul. In the right-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner, you should be able to switch it to HD. Because a couple people complained to that. They went to the HD and it worked fine for them. Alright, GW. Talk to you soon, Graham. You are welcome, Wahane, from Janet. Oh, yeah, that was for you, Janet. I forgot. I was forgetting who asked me to do that. Is there an ideal ratio for root domain and total links? Not necessarily. I mean, you kind of learn that as you bid on domains. But, like, a domain in the low 30s should have, on average, I don't know, like 30, 40 referring domains. Might only have 10 if they're really strong. Might have 60, 70. But when you start getting, like, referring domains and a couple hundred referring domains for a domain that has, domain authority in the low 30s, that's too many. And you'll kind of learn that as you go. And if you see, anything over 250, usually it has to be up in the high 40s at least. Maybe even the 50s or 60s. But that's something you kind of pick up. And even if you don't know that, you can tell by the links, what's linking to what the domain authority is, and all of that. If a site has 300 referring domains and it's all from low domain authority, then it's no good. So, and that kind of goes with Janet's question, Paul. But natural links are just links that, not links that are like blog comments or from articles or from web directories. We don't want that because we can get them. We're looking for links that come from normal websites that don't link to everyone. You know what I mean? Like, not web directories, not article directories, not blog comments. If you have like a Nashville restaurant that you're looking at as far as like a domain name, that would probably have links from a lot of Nashville websites. All right, and that's natural. Maybe even Nashville Gov would link to it because it's a really popular Nashville bar. So they say, if you come visit Nashville, make sure to check out this restaurant, which is the name of the domain you're bidding on. That's a natural link. CPA is cost per action. No, you don't have to build a website for each keyword, Paul. You can group your pages to target specific keywords, and I talk about that in the videos. So I'll get one last screenshot here, and then we'll wrap up. So this will be the last one. This covers everything that I had up until now. Zoom. There we go. From Josh. No, it just gives you the data, Josh. Anyone that puts in your site will get that data. That's all. Difference between A class and C class is just the IP range. So, you get an IP, it's like 124.76.38.95. All right. A different C class could be something like 124.76.45.95. That just has a different C class. That's A, B, C, D. All right. Different A class would be something like 190.76, then different C class 37.95. So it just makes it even more unique, all right, because the first number is different as well. You are welcome, Ed. Good night, Gary. I don't really have a favorite, so to speak. It depends what you're looking for, Andrew. So, it depends what you're doing. I like private affiliate programs, though, Andrew, because usually those don't have as much competition. Like a lot of the electronic cigarettes companies have their own private programs. So I like the private ones probably the best. All right, Scott, Gary, Gavin, have a good night. Welcome, Tammy, Paul. Yeah, I just submitted it, Paul, so I don't know where it is exactly. David can tell you that. It should be on the in the news section. So as soon as you log in, it should say update, new video added, and that's where the video will be for the new videos at least. For Tom, Tony. I'm not sure 1&1 allows different IPs, Tony, and I've never used them, so I'm not sure. Welcome, Pete. Welcome, James. Welcome, Jeff. Welcome, Bob and Tony. Yes, the expireddomains.net, Tony. That's the free one you can use. Expireddomains.net. Register Compass is the paid one. Alright? Alright, guys, that does it for this session. I'm going to get this recording in the bag. And I'll send it over to David, and he'll get it up for you. Again, if you're looking to know where videos are, ask David. David at omgmachines.com. He'll tell you where videos are located and all that stuff. Alright, guys, I'll see you next session, which will be probably early next week, I would imagine. See you all soon. Alright, so recording is started. Let me take a screenshot of some questions. Alright, so first one from Michael. You can set up your own, Michael, like ns1.yourdomainname.com. You just use the IP that the site's on. I think that's what you're asking. If not, let me know. Alright, from Chris. Yeah, I mean, it depends what the anchor text is. I mean, like, what the what the links are, like what kind of where they're from, if they're like natural type of links. Like, are they from normal websites? Are they from, if they're from like directories and stuff like that? I wouldn't really like that.